Good evening, and we welcome you to this exceptionally special occasion. Tonight we recognize a very distinguished group of individuals, but we're always mindful of the fact that they're from Pasadena, a very special place in this world. At this time, we'd ask everyone, so if you're able, we would like you to stand at this time, demonstrating a proper respect for the flags of this great nation and of this state. Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride, the colors are presented this evening by cadets of the United States Air Force Junior ROTC. Please place your right hand over your heart and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Horton, a good friend of the Hall of Fame for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is a very, very special night for those of us that have spent many, many years in Pasadena, many, many years in the Pasadena Independent School District, and many years as we watched our athletes and special events on our campuses and on our venues and on our field. I am so thrilled, I'm so proud of this district, for the legacy that we have generated, but also for the heritage that we have established. May this athletic committee continue to maintain that as we come to honor some people from our past, get to see some people we haven't seen in a long time. May this be a great evening for you. Join me and let's pray. Father, we come to you and we thank you for the opportunity I thank you for our district. I thank you for our heritage. I pray for a blessing on these families that are going to be represented here tonight as we honor them for their past accomplishments and what they mean for our school district. I pray that you bless our administrators, our campus administrators. I pray that you will bless our students here in Pasadena, that we will continue to maintain a spirit of excellence here in Pasadena. And it's your name we pray. Amen.
At this time, I'd like to introduce tonight's MC and special guest, Nate Griffin. Nate started a career in broadcast news in 1989 as a Houston radio producer, weekly reporter, and anchor. He wore many hats, juggling work as a public announcer for college basketball and as a radio color analyst for high school, college football, and basketball broadcasts. He rose up the ranks of the journalism industry and was a weekday reporter and weekend anchor at KBM-TV Channel 12 News in Beaumont, Texas. It was about this time that Nate discovered that he had a knack for getting the scoop and telling the stories of local star athletes. It was not only important to him, but everybody in the community. As many of you know, everybody knows about local football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, and soccer teams. If not, they look like people to Nate to tell the stories, and that's exactly what he did. He became a reporter for the Houston Texans and a contributing writer for regional and national networks, including Comcast and ESPN3. He was a young football athlete and spent time on the gridiron as a wide receiver for the Southern Mississippi Eagles and for the Los Medanos Mustangs. He recently completed his 10th season as a radio color analyst for Rice University's football broadcast. With a silver tongue of the sports variety, Nate continued to be successful in the journalism market, covering professional college and high school sports in the greater Houston area. This has continued for more than 25 years across various communication platforms, including radio, television, and social media. For all the early birds in the audience, you've probably seen him on Fox 26 Morning News, where he hosts Friday Football Fever, spotlighting local high school athletes and athletic programs across Pasadena ISD and the greater Houston area. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to one of Houston's most foremost sports personalities, Mr. Nate Griffin. Nate.
How y'all doing? Are y'all doing okay? Well, let me hear it then. Y'all are doing okay. Hi. Let me tell you something. I have to thank a lot of people. Bill, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I want to thank my wife, Jackie, for allowing me to come and spend the evening with me. But there's some other people I must thank. And that's the committee who allowed me to be with you this evening. It is an honor to be here. And there were some names that you mentioned, Bill, while you were talking. You talked about Don Truell. I see Don Truell all the time. We haven't been formally introduced, but I know who you are, Don. And I guess you must have worked with young Cody Carlson at some point to, probably help him perfect his skills to become a quarterback with the Houston Oilers way back when. And I know you know what I'm talking about. But at any rate, when I got the call, and I actually received a call from Art Del Barrio. Thank you, Art. Risha Brown. You guys have been wonderful. They said that you're going to be the guy. And I said, huh? They said, yeah, you're going to be the guy. And so I can't tell you, this isn't Friday Football Fever, but I actually wanted to get out on 59 and do a Friday Football Fever. Just stop everybody on the freeway, get out of your cars, let's jump around and dive on each other like we do on Fox 26 on Friday mornings during Friday Football Fever. That's what I wanted to do. So I am totally honored to be here with you tonight. I named two people that I want to thank, and there's some other people I need to thank because I'm going to be calling you. When the season starts, I'm going to be calling you. Dr. Deanne Powell, expect a phone call. I want to make sure that I have the okay to come back in your district after tonight to do some more Friday Football Fever on Fox 26 TV. Troy McCarley, there you are. Thank you, man. Appreciate your kindness. You have been so kind. We worked together so well yesterday. Looking forward to it. When we call you, don't say you can't come, all right? I know you won't. I'm not even worried about it. I kind of put you on the spot right now. Art, not worried about you. Risha, not worried about you. Rupert, I look for you to come to every one we do, all of them, okay? Bob, play-by-play voice, your wife is the spotter for you. Did you guys know that? Bob's wife is the spotter for the football broadcast. That is incredible. Big hand, big round of applause. And of course, Mr. Chairman Bill Barmore and his beautiful wife, Jackie. She has the same name as mine. And Cindy, thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Also, I invited a friend here tonight. Rocky, you and your beautiful wife. Thanks for coming, buddy. Really appreciate you. But I just want to tell you, first and foremost, Friday Football Fever is nothing without the kids. The kids make it happen. My daughter is in college now, so I can't be kid-like with her. So I have to be kid-like with your kids, and I hope you don't mind. If you watch Friday Football Fever, here's this grown man out here running around with these kids, and I'm telling you, I am loving every minute. Where are my cheerleaders? Y'all all right? First and foremost, thank you for the job that you've done tonight. You guys have been incredible. So hospitable, so nice, so warm. You walk in here, it feels like home. I'm from a small town in Mississippi, Hattiesburg. That's where Southern Miss is located. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to, Rice plays Hattiesburg. Rice plays Southern Miss this year. Can't wait to go home because it's small, it's tight, kind of like Pasadena. You're able to get away from the big city of Houston, you know, get away from there for a little bit and come to a smaller place where everybody knows your name. Everybody calls you by your first name. You call everyone by their first name. That's what's fun. That's what you guys have. You have it here in Pasadena. And all of the high schools, we didn't get to DOWDY. By the way, I need to mention my good friend Trevor Cobb, and the reason I'm bringing Trevor Cobb up, if you guys know, he's in your Hall of Fame. Great football player at Pasadena DOWDY, greater football player at Rice University. He was magnificent. Too bad he's not here tonight. I don't think. I haven't seen him. But I just wanted to give him a big shout out. But at any rate, it's so nice to be here tonight. I'm looking forward to the event. I only have 5 to 7 minutes. One other thing I wanted to say, for those of you who are interested in broadcasting, and I know a lot of the youngsters where I go to the different high schools, they ask me, how do you do it? I'll have plenty of time once the event is over if you guys want to talk about that, if you're interested in broadcasting. The one thing that we want to do at Fox 26 is spread ourselves out in the community. We want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us. How many of you actually watch Fox 26 Morning News? Everybody here. That's great. That's great. That's good to know that you're not watching my competitors. I love it. Absolutely love it. This is going to be a great evening of festivities, and the inductees, can't wait to introduce them. Big round of applause for all of the inductees tonight. You're going to get to know them a little bit better. I am so looking forward to this. Thank you for the time. This is not Friday Football Fever, but by the end of the evening, you may be jumping around once we introduce you to all of the inductees. Get Bill up here, get Bob up here. These guys are going to fire you up too. Let's have some fun. And now it's time to meet the inductees. First, the late Coach Allan Brown of Pasadena High School, sponsored by Carl Schultz and Sherry Hutchinson of Ameriflex. Representing Coach Brown here tonight is his daughter Cindy Brown Stang and son Michael Brown.
We've already had the honor of introducing one other inductee, famous in the history of Pasadena ISD, Bert Cohn. Athletes like Bert capture our attention capture our admiration, and shine in our memories. But we often fail to recognize the people who stand behind the athletes or just how many young lives are touched by our coaches. People who take the raw talent and random emotions of high school students and develop them into focused, determined stars. For 13 years until his death in 1975 at age 56, ALLAN Brown saw to the training and the needs of scores of students with physical and mental challenges. ALLAN Brown was one of those special coaches who took that skinny, 6 foot plus tall Bert Cohn and turned him into a real athlete. Actually, Coach Brown took a lot of boys and turned them into champions. That was ALLAN Brown's gift. He developed champions. Pasadena Hall of Fame, Carl Choate, Randy Kerbo, and David Webb all played on the Pasadena Eagles football team that made history. They reached the state championship game, and that remains the pinnacle of PISD success. You might say Coach Brown tried to keep things in the family. Coach Brown's daughter, Sharon, married Pasadena High School gridiron star Robbie Robinette. ALLAN himself, the son of a Creek Indian chief, was a PHS Eagle product. He graduated in 1936 and then went on to play for Southwest Texas State. Like many Pasadena grads, he returned to the district as a teacher. Coach was a veteran. He served in the Coast Guard until 1946 before rejoining the coaching staff that same year. In 57, a very special year for Coach ALLAN Brown, his track team took second place in state. But it was during that same season that Coach Brown organized the Pasadena Invitational Meet. That meet continues to be recognized as a very important regional warm-up for state championship competition. In '62, ALLAN Brown gave up coaching and left Pasadena. But in his honor, the Invitational was renamed the Brown Relays. Carl Choate and Sherry Hutchinson of Amaflex are here. Would they come forward, please, for pictures?
We now present to you NIKKI COCKRELL, Sam Rayburn High Class of 1994, sponsored by Avidec.
The record book for the University of Texas softball team has been rewritten many times since NIKKI COCKRELL played her first game for the Longhorns nearly 2 decades ago. Of course, it was NIKKI, in large part, who wrote it in the first place. NIKKI was the key offensive and defensive component of a newly minted University of Texas program that rose to national prominence in just about the time it took for COCKRELL to run from first to third. Led by NIKKI and the arm of former W pitcher Krista Williams, the Longhorns landed a spot in softball's College World Series in 1998, just the second year that the program had been in existence. In a flash, UT softball was on the map, and the path opened wide for dozens of softball standouts from around the country to fill their shoes and break their records. A transfer from Texas A&M, NIKKI played on UT's first 3 softball teams, and she ranked in the top 5 in 14 different record book categories. The 5'2" second baseman earned first team All-American honors as a junior. when she drove in 46 runs and pounded out 10 home runs, both team highs. She repeated as an All-Big 12 honoree and was named a third-team All-American as a senior in 1999, belting out a dramatic extra inning homer that beat Missouri in the Big 12 tournament, which the Longhorns went on to win. At the end of the 99 season, NIKKI was named to the NCAA Woman of the Year for the state of Texas. Twice she was named an academic All-American, and after college, she was drafted in the 4th round of the Women's Pro Softball League draft. In 2006, she was inducted into the University of Texas Women's Athletic Hall of Fame. And for 3 seasons at UT, NIKKI hit 19 home runs, 35 doubles, 10 triples, drove in 93 runs. NIKKI was also good at stealing things. She stole bases more than anybody else her sophomore year. As a junior and as a senior, she handled 389 defensive chances while committing only 5 errors that entire season. At Sam Rayburn, NIKKI lettered all 4 years in softball, earning first-team all-district honors her freshman, junior, and senior seasons. Don't know what happened sophomore year. As a junior in '93, she hit .594, and 2 years later earned a gold medal playing for the USA Junior Girls National Team. Ladies and gentlemen, NIKKI COCKRELL. And we'd like Mike Porterfield of Evidec to come up for the picture.
If you hit .594, you should be playing on the Olympic team. Congratulations, NIKKI. We continue with the greats here. Presenting Bobby Crenshaw, Pasadena High School class of 1959, sponsored by Texas Citizens Bank. Bobby is being represented by Texas Citizens Bank. Bobby is represented here tonight by Don Truell and Lawrence Elkins, his former Baylor teammates. Guys?
Bobby Crenshaw, an all-state lineman on that Pasadena High team that went 12-2 in 1958 and played in the state championship game, the only Pasadena ISD team to advance to that spot. Another Pasadena Eagle with a storybook chapter in the Pasadena Athletics Hall of Fame. Bobby Crenshaw's story leads to Baylor University. There just seems to be something about green. Pasadena, Baylor. Eagle pride seems to run in the veins. Bobby lettered 3 years at Baylor, and as a senior, he earned first team All-Southwest Conference. He was the first Pasadena ISD product to receive that honor. After the Bluebonnet Bowl, he played in the East-West Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys drafted Bobby in the 11th round of '64, but it was the Oilers, that little upstart team from the rival American Football League, who wound up with him. It seems the staff Bud Adams had assembled in Houston had done their homework and realized they had a gem. They drafted Crenshaw in the 3rd round of their draft. Bobby Crenshaw had all the markings of a professional football standout, but as fate would have it, there was another way. In the Oilers' next to last exhibition game, a game against the Oakland Raiders, he suffered an injury to his knee, and he never played another down of football. Years later, when Baylor announced its all-decade teams, Bobby was there on the Bears defensive squad representing the 1960s. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 61 in 2002 of a heart attack. Happily, like others, his name and his heart will ever be remembered in the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. And here are two teammates to be with him to make the presentation. Help me welcome Bobby CRENSHAW into the Hall of Fame.
Great show of leadership and team, guys. Big hand, big hand. Let's hear for LaToya Davis, South Houston High class of 2002. Come on down. Sponsored by Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union. LaToya Davis.
As a South Houston Trojan, LaToya Davis was nothing short of truly amazing. 4 times a first-team all-district selection, 3 times a sophomore, a junior, and again as a senior, the district's most valuable player. She was honored as an all-state player as a junior and again as a senior. As a sophomore, LaToya put up her finest numbers. Actually, she was so darn good that opponents didn't have a clue how to defend against her. She averaged 25.3 points that season with 16.1 rebounds and 5.2 blocks. And she averaged 24.1 points per game and 11.3 rebounds as a junior. And LaToya, how in the world do you get 0.1 rebounds? Shouldn't that be 17? I think so. As a senior, she led South Houston to its first state regional finals. She averaged 17.4 points, posted a 1-game high of 51 points, and 12.1 rebounds. Along the way, she set a Lady Trojans record for career points and finished her high school career as the #1 scorer in the entire greater Houston area for 3 years. And LaToya never missed a step moving from South Houston to Texas Tech, obviously likes red. In 2002, she became part of the nationally ranked Lady Raiders. In her junior year, LaToya became a starter. Statisticians had to keep replacing calculator batteries to keep up with her. She averaged 28.9 points with 10.5 rebounds per game with a shooting percentage of 59.7. She was named first team Big All-12 and a junior at that, an MVP for the Lady Raiders. In life after college, LaToya played in Europe, and I'm guessing before retiring from the game in 2011, would Taylor Hebert of Gulf Coast Educators please come up and join us for a picture as we recognize LaToya Davis, South Houston High, new member of the Athletics Hall of Fame.
We continue with the greats. One right behind me, by the way. Now presenting the Pasadena High School Eagles, Bruce Dowdy, class of 1967. Bruce is being sponsored this evening by Gallagher. Bruce Dowdy, class of 1967.
Okay, picture this. Standing erect, arms spread like a condor, his fingers flashing dual victory signs towards the stands, Texas Tech fans knew that the fabled big play gesture, what it meant. Dowdy had done it again. For 3 consecutive seasons, Bruce Dowdy was Texas Tech's symbol of football success. Any great play turned in by the Red Raiders' 6'4", 215-pound defensive end, and there were dozens of them during the 68 through 70 seasons, that would be followed by his own signature pose. His story begins at Pasadena High School. The son of a Houston police officer, Bruce earned first-team all-district honors on defense, second-team laurels as a receiver after he led the district in touchdown catches. His clutch reception during the 66 season was critical to the Eagles' victories over Deer Park, Baytown, and Sam Rayburn. Bruce left many ball carriers with bruises, but he outdid himself in college football history. In 68, playing a game in just his second collegiate game, he turned in a head-spinning performance against Texas, blocking a field goal try, intercepting a pass, and throwing the key block on an 84-yard punt return for a touchdown, all of which led to a 31-22 upset of the Horns. Bruce reigned as one of the Southwest Conference's best defensive players and an all-academic honoree as well. He earned first-team All-Southwest Conference honors as a sophomore and again as a senior. Named an honorable mention All-American after his final season, he topped his career by taking home Tech's Pete Clothan Award as the Red Raiders' best all-around player. He was later named to the Southwest Conference All-Decade team for the 70s. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Bruce Dowdy. And would Mike Barmore from Gallagher Barmore come up for the picture?
I'd just like to know how many times you've been back to Lubbock to look at that new stadium, or relatively new stadium. It's beautiful. Congratulations. Big round of applause, folks. And now let us recognize Coach Harry Morgan of South Houston High School, sponsored by Terry Brotherton.
Coach Morgan, like other heroes, served his country during World War II. He flew Liberator bombers in the war over Europe. Thank you and God bless you for your service, Harry. After the war, he attended Hill Junior and then earned his degree from Texas A&M. His Pasadena ISD career began at Jackson Junior High School, and he quickly set success standards that have never been matched at that level in Pasadena. From 51 to 53, the Jackson Wildcats won 29 of 30 games and claimed 3 straight Gulf Coast District championships. Coach Morgan had the task of building a football program at the newly opened South Houston High School after it opened its doors. Within 10 years, the Trojans won a tie game 13-13 against Pasadena High, but beat the Eagles on penetrations and won the first playoff spot in South Houston history. Over that 10-year period, Coach Morgan's teams had accumulated a 53-44-3 record. Coach, himself a product of Pasadena schools, was the assistant track coach and an assistant football coach at Pasadena from 54 to 57. First assistant to Pasadena High head coach ALLAN Brown in 57. And there when the Eagles won the state track title. Harry remained at South Houston High School. After hanging up his whistle, he became Dean of Boys at South Houston. After the 67 season, Coach Morgan became a district administrator after he left South Houston High School. Terry Brotherton, would you please come and join us for a picture? And ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome into the Hall of Fame, Coach Harry Morgan.
It's a great moment. Once again, Coach, thank you so much, and thank you for your service. We'll say it again. Congratulations. And now, presenting Johnny Parker, Sam Rayburn class of 1968, sponsored by Community Bank of Texas. Johnny Parker.
Well, Johnny may not have been the tallest on the field, and he may not have been the quickest, but he had the moves in the hands to make himself like few others. What a receiver he was, piling up the records like no one else in school history before or since. Almost half a century later, several of his records remain and survive. His career total of 160 catches still stands, as do his career marks of 2,479 receiving yards and a per-game average of 82.3 yards as one of the best in district history. His career mark of 19 touchdown catches wasn't broken until 2008. A standout football and basketball player at Southmore Junior High School and then Sam Rayburn High School, Johnny signed at New Mexico State. After a single season, he enrolled at Southwest Texas, the school he originally wanted to attend, in 1969, and immediately became a campus football hero. That season, he caught 58 passes for school record totals, since broken, of 927 yards and 8 touchdowns. In one game alone, he caught 12 passes and averaged an amazing 102 receiving yards per game, a school record that still survives. As a junior in 1970, he posted a career best 189 yards in one single game. But perhaps the greatest wonder in Johnny's college career was that he played most of it hampered by a severe knee injury, the result of being waylaid by a teammate during punishment drills following a late season loss his sophomore year. Despite 4 hours under the surgeon's knife and 3 months of rehab, Johnny worked to return to the field, but his physical shortcomings wrecked his pro football prospects. What a heck of a career in college. Johnny spent 27 years with the campus police force at Southwest Texas, where he assisted with security at Bobcats football games. In 2016, he was inducted into Texas State's Athletic Hall of Fame. We welcome, and please help me in recognizing our newest member of the Hall of Fame, Johnny Parker.
I'm having a hard time understanding how does slow and record-breaking go together. Having played the position of receiver, you got to have a little speed. This guy had something special, hands. You guys remember Freddie Bolitnikoff? Caught a lot of passes. He was slow, but he caught a lot of passes with the Oakland Raiders. Congratulations, Johnny. I know how you did it. I know how you did it. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Calvin Pawitsky Jr., Pasadena High School class of 1964.
Calvin's dad was an architect, and Calvin decided as a very young boy that he wanted to be one too. Even football couldn't change the blueprint of a man who would go on to become one of the top architects in the state of Texas. Well, not that football didn't try. As a Pasadena High School senior, Calvin was the anchor of both the offense and defensive lines for the only team in Pasadena ISD history never to lose a game. The Eagles that season won 9 games and tied 3. After opening the season with back-to-back ties, Pasadena rattled off 9 straight victories and advanced to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. There they tied Spring Branch 14-14, but Spring Branch edged them out on a late game run by the young man who was rated as the nation's top running back that year. Still, the Eagles were able to claim an undefeated season, and Calvin Pawitsky was able to claim even more, All-State and All-Greater Houston honors as a tackle. Linemen in football seldom get much public recognition, but Calvin was even named the most valuable player in District 12 4A, unheard of for a lineman. Calvin lettered in 65 and 66 for a Rice team that only 2 games each year, won 2 games each year. The highlight came his sophomore year when the Owls pulled off a stunning upset, beating Darrell Royal's 5th-ranked Longhorns in August. Playing in Lubbock, he laid a tackle on a Texas Tech All-American Donnie Anderson when few others could ever have touched him. Normally a second-teamer, Calvin was sent into the game at Tiger Stadium when the Owls started offensive tackle, was knocked out cold on the field. The LSU player opposing Calvin came up to the line, gave him a snarl and a growl, and said, "I'm going to kick your butt." And as Calvin recalls, he did. The 7th-ranked Tigers won by 4 touchdowns, but Calvin's junior season forced him to make a choice: either give up football or put his dream of becoming an architect on hold. Well, Calvin said goodbye to football. He graduated the following year with his bachelor's degree, and 2 years after with his degree in architecture. He graduated from Rice, a recipient of the School of Architecture's highest award, the Alpha Rho Chi Medal. Today, he is the co-founder of Bay Architects, also known as the Texas Studio for the IBI Group, a global design firm specializing in educational products. Over the years, Pawitsky has handled construction and renovation projects throughout the Pasadena and surrounding communities, including Pasadena ISD's Kirk Lewis Center and Technical High School. He has been at the front line more than 28 times for campus renovations around our city, including one school that holds a very special place in his well-prioritized heart, the renovations at Pasadena High School. Would Danny Brewster and Mark French of the IBI Group come up and join us, please, for pictures as we welcome Mr. Pawitsky to the Athletic Hall of Fame.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our special presentation, for the first time in Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame history, we present the Pasadena High School 1957 track team. Big hand, please, big hand. In fact, if you want to stand up, go ahead and stand up. They are sponsored this evening by Metter Staffing Incorporated. Big round of applause, standing ovation, go ahead.
Okay, dream with me. It's 1957. Elvis Presley has the hit song, "I'm All Shook Up." And 12 angry men were playing at local theaters across the country. It was Kentucky Derby Day, And while U.S. citizens were busy watching these events, stitched into the fabric of American history unfolding before them, the Pasadena High School track team created a history all of its own. The 440 relay team consisted of Carl Choate, Larry Witt, Larry May, Bert Cohen. The Eagles mile team, Metter, Choate, May, and Cohen, clocked one of the fastest times in the nation. Choate and Metter were quarter milers. Metter ran in the 880-yard dash. Cohen and Philip Breeden excelled in the sprints. Bill Donaldson threw the shot put and the discus. Morris Cherry besting others by leaps and bounds in the high hurdles. Robert Redwine and the late Larry Early shined as the team's high jumper and pole vaulter. They competed at least twice each weekend throughout the season before the district meet, advanced to the regionals, and qualified for the big day, May 4th, 1957, the state competition. The meet was full of surprises that day. Clouds gave way to a rainy forecast, but despite any hurdles, the team, led by Coach Brown and assistant coach Harry Morgan, was resilient, determined, and committed to take home the gold. Cohen, one of the most celebrated football and track athletes in the state at the time, racked up the most points, helping the team get a leg up on the competition. Although Cohen rarely competed in the long jump during the regular season, the 6'4" Eagle was thrust into action at the state meet where he soared 24 feet 4 inches, shattering the state record. The jump also registered on the national records, ranking number 3 in the entire nation. Cohen also won 2 sprint competitions in the 100-meter dash, clocking in at 10 seconds flat, the 220 at 22.1 seconds. A junior at the time, he tried the high jump and ran the fastest leg on the 440 sprint relay team. With Cohen in the game, the points kept adding up, closer and closer to the state championship finish line. It came down to the 440 relay. The relay team knew it came down to them, and they wore the pressure admirably. Almost as if Cohen had passed an invisible baton, pushing them to compete the last stretch on a win. In the 440, a team comprised of Choate, Metter, May. Not only did this group place first with a time of 43.3, but the entire team won the state championship. While Bert Cohen was the undisputed star, he had a strong team behind him. Donaldson threw the shot put 49.8 feet and 3/4, earning first place in the division and setting a new record. And the Eagles 440 relay team clocked as one of the fastest in the nation. Metter also bested the rest in the 880-yard dash, winning first place. The meet went down as one of the best in Pasadena School District sports history and in the history of the Pasadena district, earning them a whole new moniker, the Speedy Eagles. The state title was listed as number 4 in 1999 as Pasadena's top 5 sports achievements of the century. It had been 11 years since Pasadena High School 1946 basketball team had captured a state championship, which sweetened the victory for the track team. On May 4th, the Pasadena High School Eagles track team broke 2 state records and raced to victory to become state champions. Today, they are acclaimed to another place in history as they are inducted into the Pasadena ISD's 2018 class of the Athletics Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pasadena High School track team, 1957 state champions. We'd like to recognize them individually. Could you guys please raise your hands when your names are called? Larry May. Carl Choate. Ben Metter. Bert Cohen. Morris Cherry. The family of Larry Whitty. Clint Croft, the manager of the team. And finally, coaches Alan Brown and Harry Morgan. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and give all of our new inductees a warm round of Pasadena applause.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our athletic director, Rupert Hasso. Rupert formerly served in the Clear Lake High School for many years, and before we had the pleasure of welcoming him to our district last year. So please help me welcome Rupert Hasso.
I just got to say, wow, this is impressive. Good evening and welcome, school board members, athletes, guests, and our past and present Hall of Fame inductees. Congratulations to this year's Hall of Fame inductees, and we thank you for your example of hard work and dedication and the legacy that you have left for us at PISD. I'd like to thank Pasadena Independent School District Board, Dr. Deanne Powell, and all the administrators for their continued support of all extracurricular activities in the Pasadena Independent School District. Also, a big thank you to the student participants tonight. You guys have made this a very nice evening. I'm still trying to calm down. Mr. Griffin's got me all fired up. As a new athletic director, this is my first opportunity to be part of this amazing program. And hearing the stories and watching all these guys walk up and all the accolades that they get, that they've gotten, and seeing the community come together to celebrate the achievements of this year's inductees makes me very proud and very thankful to be a part of this district. Thank you to all of our inductees, your families as well, and all of those who are here tonight for inspiring the next generation of athletes. And let's enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Rupert. And now I'd like to introduce one of our newest inductees, Calvin Pawitsky, to present a speech on behalf of the inductees. Calvin?
Well, I was asked to represent all of the inductees. So honored tonight. Something that is really great for all of us. It's something that we will not forget. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to all the people tonight that put this together and worked hard to make this a success. Thank you for all of you for attending and supporting this opportunity to share memories of the past and successes that we have shown. But I think really there's probably something else going on here. I think our personal achievements in athletics are great, and that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. What's really going on, I think, is kind of another opportunity to celebrate what it means to be an American. To be an American like living in a country that was formed to give us freedom to pursue our dreams. Living in a school district that's constantly committed to all of its students. Living in a community full of caring, supportive people. Being cocooned, if you will, being surrounded by loving families, our churches, and a network of friends. But I want to be very clear in my heart anyway, that the unsung heroes today, you know, when you see protests being made throughout the country for teachers' salaries and more effort for states to support their school district. You think about the unsung heroes tonight that we're really celebrating for our successes, and we are saying that we owe them. And most of these guys are unrewarded, unacknowledged, in many cases unthanked. A group of people we call teachers and coaches. You know, these people don't have a 40-hour week. These people don't get paid time and a half for overtime. They're just expected to work overtime. They give their hearts and they give their care and love to their students. For us, they were much more than just teachers and coaches. We remember them as counselors. We remember them as friends. We remember them as mentors. I had a hard time ever calling my coaches Sam Saylor or Bob Barfield. I always called him Coach. And we were in Rotary together, and I still had to call him Coach. So a special thank you to our educators for all you did for us then and continue to do for so many today. Thank you.